My name's Phil Astin. I've been working at Innov8 for just under 5 years. My job title is the financial controller. My job role entails basically looking after the finances of the company. Well, I actually came to Sage 200, or MMS, I think, if I recall correctly, it was called then, in 2005, late 2005. And the company I was working for at that particular point was using Sage Line 50, and the database within Sage Line 50 was getting too large. So as a company, we upgraded to Sage 200. That particular company was doing over 1 million transactions a year through the system, and I have been a Sage 200 user ever since. I've used it with a variety of bespoke add-ons, and I've obviously used all the standard functions of Sage 200 as well. Is its reliability and its stability. In sort of 18 years of use, I've never had a data issue with Sage 200. So there's never been a problem of being able to use it or anything. All the information that you want is there. It's relatively straightforward to use. I mean, there are 3 different ways of navigating around it, so different users can choose their sort of preferred method. I'm a little bit old-fashioned. I actually quite like the menus, but most of the people that I've worked with prefer some of the slightly more graphical ways of doing it. The information is easy to access. The system itself, it's a straightforward accounting system, so you can access and find everything you need. In my personal experience, I don't believe you need a vast amount of training with it, because if you're an accountant, because it's logical. Okay, well, our accounts department actually do the doing, I should say. So they actually deal with the processing of all documents in there, whether that's sales orders, purchase orders, purchase invoices, sales invoices, all the banking entries, and etc. My role is to actually pull together the management accounts. I extract information from Sage 200, and I pull together our internal sort of MI from that. And there are certain things in there that I will look at very closely, and if there's something that I want to know a little bit more about, so where we get variances, whether that's against budget or whether that's against year on year, I'll then dig into Sage 200 to find out the background behind that. Where I found Sage 200 incredibly valuable for this, because we actually operate out of 5 offices. I'd say probably for, 19 out of 20 queries, I can find every single piece of information I need within Sage 200 without the need to actually pick up the phone and speak to someone and say, hold on a moment, I don't understand why this is different. One area that's absolutely superb is where we actually record original invoices in the system. So these are purchase invoices that I'm talking about, and I can be logged onto our Sage 200 system, and there could be there'll be an invoice on there, and I think, oh, what's that for? Why is there a value that's a little bit different this month? It doesn't seem to sit right. Let me have a little dig into that. I can actually go back and I can pull out the original source invoice that's been sent from our supplier, and I can either view it on my screen, or if necessary, if I want to be a bit old-fashioned, I can print it out. So it means when it comes to queries, I'm very, very self-sufficient, and that's one of the reasons that I absolutely love it. It makes life very, very simple for me. Where this has become really valuable for us is, as a company, we're quite acquisitive. So we've acquired, in the last sort of 4 years or so, 4 or 5 years, we've acquired 3 companies. And what Sage 200 enables us to do is to create a new company for those, to bring their data across very, very quickly. So I can see what's happening in those, because obviously when you acquire a new company, you need to make sure it's working properly. You need to have your finger on the pulse to make sure that your overhead is completely controlled, your sales levels are where you're expecting them to be. Sage 200 is brilliant for that, because you've got the multi-companies that you can just flick between. I mean, our most recent acquisition, I think it was sort of 4 weeks of acquisition. We've got a Sage 200 company created for that. We've got all the data migrated across. We've got everything all set up in there, ready for when we actually merge the accounts. And it just makes that process that little bit easier for us. Sage Intacct is a really exciting prospect for us. We're actually working on a roadmap at the moment that will take us from Sage 200 to Sage Intacct. One of the benefits of that is it is true cloud-based, which means the access from the different offices is probably going to be even faster than it already is, which is obviously a huge benefit for me when I'm operating from different locations. And other members of our team do the same thing as well. But I had a sit down with one of our key technical people, and he explained to me the way that the databases work. Quite honest, it blew my mind a little bit. It's almost like having everything in a data cube where you can just mix and mash and pull things together. And myself and Carl, our managing director, and Beth, our head of finance, we actually got quite excited at the way that you can actually pull all this data and use it and be able to view it in different ways. So Sage Intacct very definitely forms part of our future. One of the things I find most valuable about Sage 200 is that ability to access the purchase invoices. Now, we actually used to use Sage 200's standard function for doing that, which is okay. It's perfectly adequate. However, for the scanning of documents in, we moved over to Spindle earlier this year, which has actually saved our accounts team a significant amount of time to actually get the documents in there and get them in a sort of speedy and accurate manner. We've actually confirmed with HMRC that we no longer need to keep paper copies of purchase invoice documents now, so everything is going to be stored electronically, which is going to save probably about another day to 2 days worth of time within the accounts department.